Hi everyone, my name is Manish and welcome to the Manish Niche. This has been a long time coming, an update on what I'm working on, and it's been quite difficult. I just realized today that I have a lot of resistance to sharing my work, so I want to start by discussing that. Something I intended to do was post quite regular updates on my development and share the other things I'm working on, have a regular blog, post to social media, and I've got a lot of content to share on those platforms, but what I found was that I keep focusing on technical work, the things I was more comfortable with, writing, the game development, and other admin and things like that, and not actually focusing on sharing the work. And I think unconsciously I had this fear of being seen or of having my work kind of shared and in the public to be critiqued. So consciously I didn't think I had this fear. I didn't feel I was very shy or felt I had any block around this, but looking back in my actions, I wasn't doing the things I needed to do to share my work. So yeah, that's where I'm at now, and already having seen this pattern, I can now start to consciously change that, such as this video right now. And I'm sharing this partly because, not to make any excuses or anything, but to both be transparent in what's happening with me, but also to help make it clear perhaps to others who are going through something similar. You know, if you notice yourself not sharing because you're afraid, and there may be different causes for that, but if you notice a similar fear, then perhaps you can start to look at how you can transform that belief as well and consciously change that pattern. Yeah, now onto the updates. So some things to talk about. So I posted some time ago now that I've started working on a game called Throne of Urugalu, which is based on the ancient Kakatiya kingdom in Telangana, India. So I've been continuing to work on that. I'm getting close to having a playable demo or introduction kind of available pretty soon. I've done the writing, the programming is mostly done. I just need to tie together or get some images done and tie that into some music and playtesting. So that will be available pretty soon, hopefully. The more that I work on this, the more I'm realizing how big a project I've started, but I'm still confident once I really focus and dial in my process, I'll be able to smash through this pretty quickly. I'm using AI art for that, so I'm going to continue with that for now. What I found worked for me on my previous game project was, didn't always do this, but what I've decided to explore is doing a sketch by hand, uploading that into whichever AI agent I'm using and say, look, refine this sketch, can you add these details to it, can you change the art in this way? So it's kind of AI assisted in that sense. I can't yet draw for anything to save my life, but I can sketch, and I'm keen to explore this kind of more collaborative approach with AI rather than having it do everything for me. I don't enjoy that approach, and I'm also very fussy about the kinds of details I want to be seen. I want it to be as historical as I can, which is really challenging because there's not many details from that time period. I have many more ideas I want to share about that and the research I've done into clothing, for example, and the customs and how people would have dressed and looked back in those times. 14th century, so this is like early 1300s in South India. So yeah, if you're interested in playtesting, I've already spoken with some people who are keen on playtesting. Let let me know. I'm going to have basically a graphic-less version, like basically a wireframe build where there's no graphics, just the text and dialogue choices available. So if you could help me with playtesting, that would be really appreciated. Just get in touch. And then hopefully have a playable demo out very soon. What else have I been working on? So I'm currently in Christchurch visiting my parents, and I've been helping my father with some work in his shop. He's got a business selling cameras, printing photos, taking passport photos, that sort of thing. So I might share some info about that, some techie stuff related to that people might find quite interesting. Let's see. What else? Okay, this is getting pretty wild. I've been researching something called the thunderstorm generator, which is a device invented by a guy called Malcolm Bedell, I think his name is Bendel, sorry, apologies, who has created this device that apparently makes internal combustion engines a lot more efficient and reduces emissions dramatically. So that's really got my interest as an engineer, and I love these kinds of ideas of like making energy more abundant and more accessible. So I've been, initially I just found this on YouTube somewhere, and then I shared it with a friend, and I got more interested in reading more. So I don't have any equipment with me right now to actually explore this directly, but I'm very interested in this topic, and I think I'm going to share some more in future on this at some point. Perhaps if I can get to a place where I can set up a little workshop, I might have a tinker with this as well. But that's been on my radar. Something else is a book series I've been reading called Keys to the Kingdom by Garth Nix. I really enjoy Garth Nix's writings. This series I found a little bit hard going, not as captivating, but I love the creativity in his work, and I want to talk more about that at some point in depth, because I think so. The series was first written in the first book was written in 2003, or published in 2003, and then Nix would publish basically one book every year as a 7-book series. It's kind of similar to the Harry Potter kind of model, but completely different universe. It's about this young boy who gets swept up into a magical adventure where there's another dimension called the House, and he's battling enemies and finding magical devices and making friends and all sorts of interesting things along the way. And the reason I want to talk about this on this channel is that it's so creative. Like, he has such bizarre adventures. It touches on there's never really like a theoretical explanation of this otherworldly thing. The book series is designed more for like teenagers, I guess, but I find a lot of sci-fi and fantasy writings can get a bit derailed by talking about the metaphysics or the world building, and this is more or less into the action. Crazy things happen. Like, for example, there's this magical substance called nothing, the capital N, that sorcerers and other like spellcrafters can shape into different creatures or different objects, and some of them have the ability to jump between different dimensions and can do different things, and it's just very cool and creative. And I love seeing that kind of stuff, and I want to see more creativity in the world. And I've seen it trend recently with a lot of mainstream media in particular, movies, books, TV shows to an extent. Not even to an extent. Not that I watch a lot of TV anymore, to be honest, but I see a lot of the mainstream media is getting very samey and very like rebooting an old concept. There's no new intellectual property, games. People know this. The mainstream gaming world is very much about reboots and sequels. It's only in the indie gaming scene you find really creative ideas coming through, which is partly why I'm getting into game development right now. just to kind of further that burst of creativity we're seeing. So I'm sharing this because I want to get people thinking more about creativity itself and how we can express that more in our lives, because I think we need more of that. Okay, cool. On that note, I'm going to wrap it up. I intended to go live, but my YouTube channel does not allow live streams until 24 hours. So I'll publish this as a regular video, pretty much unedited. And then, yeah, let's see how I can explore this, both the updates that I'm working on and kind of conquering that fear of sharing my work and of being seen. Yeah. Catch you on the next one.